Nicola Sturgeon's team have been questioned for not spending all of the £200 million Brexit cash allocated for the transition period. Alex Chisholm, permanent secretary at the Holyrood Cabinet Office, was asked how much the Scottish government had been given to prepare for leaving the EU. Mr. Chisholm said nearly £48 million of the budget had not been spent. Responding to Tory MP Sir Bernard Jenkins at the Public Accounts Committee, Mr. Chisholm said, "The figure is in the order of about £200 million and that's going back to 2017. I think around about £48 or £49 million remain to be spent this year." Mr. Jenkins then said, "So they underspent on Brexit preparedness. What evidence is there that the Scottish Government has given the UK taxpayer value for money for what they spent?" Mr. Chisholm argues it was up to the Scottish Government to decide what the money is spent on. He continued, "Well, the decisions on how they spend that money is a matter for the Scottish Government and they are obviously accountable for that. I can confirm that the full Barnett formula has been applied and they have been given a proportionate amount of funding. There was also an additional £20 million was also granted last year on a kind of emergency operational basis in support of no-deal type preparations." Mr. Chisholm was criticized for why there had been an underspend, given then difficulties which have emerged following the end of the transition period on December 31. He continued, "I'm not sure which parts of that would really be fully described as underspend and which would be carried over, but obviously I would expect that if 3 was an agreement for it to be carried over, that the UK Treasury were happy that that was probably going to be needed this year to help with the additional work that needs to be done." Now, Scottish Conservatives have attacked Scottish First Minister Nicola Sturgeon and the SNP ministers, claiming they were manufacturing grievances. Maurice Golden MSP, the Tory economic spokesman, said, "A senior civil servant has revealed that around £50 million is sitting there waiting to be spent, despite the SNP claiming they've already used this money." While SNP ministers like Kate Forbes are trying to manufacture funding grievances with the UK government, they're not getting Brexit funding and business funding out the door quickly enough. Instead of doing whatever they can to help Scottish exports through this transition period, the SNP are leaving cash unspent and not lifting a finger. The Brexit Business Readiness Fund was announced back in 2019 and was set to issue grants to prepare businesses for when the UK left the EU. This comes as Prime Minister Boris Johnson has faced angry backlash as businesses face problems exporting goods to the EU, through no fault of their own.